Most people think intelligence is something you can measure with a test, a degree, or how quickly someone can solve a problem in front of others. But there is a type of mind that does not show up on any of those scales. It operates quietly. It rarely announces itself. And the people who have it often spend most of their lives feeling slightly out of step with the world around them. Research in cognitive psychology suggests that a small percentage of people are wired with what researchers call deep processing minds. Their brains take in more information, hold it longer, and connect it in ways that most people cannot easily follow. The result is a kind of intelligence that looks invisible from the outside but runs incredibly deep on the inside. Today I want to walk you through 10 signs that you have one of these rare minds. And stay with me until sign 7, because it is the one that almost no one recognizes in themselves, even when they live with it every single day. The first sign is that you read environments before anyone says a word. You walk into a room and within seconds something inside you adjusts. You feel the temperature of the space. You notice who is comfortable and who is not. You pick up on the tension between two people who have not spoken to each other yet. This is not intuition in the mystical sense. It is high-level pattern recognition happening below conscious thought. Your brain is processing micro-expressions, body language, tone, and spatial dynamics all at once. Most people walk into a room and see furniture. You walk into a room and see a complete emotional map of everyone in it. The second sign is that you think in systems and connections rather than isolated facts. When you learn something new, your mind does not file it away in a box. It links it to 10 other things you already know. A piece of psychology connects to something you read about history. A pattern in a conversation connects to a behavior you noticed years ago. This is called associative thinking, and it is one of the strongest indicators of a deep processing mind. You are not collecting information. You are building a web. And the more you learn, the more that web reveals invisible structures behind everyday life. The third sign is that you cannot turn off the analysis inside your head. People tell you that you overthink. They tell you to relax, to stop being so deep, to let things go. But what they call overthinking is your mind doing what it was built to do. You replay conversations to understand what was really being communicated. You analyze decisions because you can see the second and third order consequences that others miss. This is not a flaw in your wiring. It is the wiring itself. Your mind was not built for shallow processing, and trying to force it into that mode feels like asking a deep ocean to behave like a puddle. The fourth sign is that you feel emotionally older than the people around you, sometimes by a wide margin. Even as a child, you noticed things that other children did not. You understood adult emotions before you had words for them. You watched people more than you played with them. And as you grew up, that gap never closed. You sit with friends your own age and feel like you are listening to a different generation. This is not arrogance. It is the result of a mind that matured along a different timeline, often shaped by an environment that required early emotional awareness. The fifth sign is that most conversations feel unbearably shallow to you. Small talk does not just bore you. It exhausts you. You can do it when needed, but every minute of it costs you energy that other people do not seem to spend. What you crave instead is the kind of conversation that goes somewhere. A real exchange of ideas. A question that opens a door. A moment where two people actually meet beneath the surface. You would rather sit in silence with someone real than sit in a long conversation with someone performing. This is not snobbery. It is your mind protecting its limited bandwidth for the kind of depth it actually needs. Stop here for a moment, because something needs to be said before we continue. If you are recognizing yourself in these signs, I want you to hear this clearly. There is nothing wrong with the way your mind works. There never was. You were not built incorrectly. You were built differently. And the loneliness that sometimes comes with this kind of mind is not a sign that you do not belong in the world. It is a sign that you have been walking through a world that was not designed with minds like yours in mind. Stay with me. The next signs are where the picture becomes complete. The sixth sign is that you see patterns in people before they reveal themselves. You meet someone new and within minutes you have a sense of who they are, what they want, and how they will behave when things get difficult. You are not judging them. You are simply reading the data that they are already broadcasting. And more often than not, time proves you right. Psychologists call this predictive social cognition. Your brain takes in subtle signals like tone shifts, eye contact patterns, and word choice, and assembles them into an accurate model of a person faster than most people can form a first impression. The seventh sign is the one most people with this kind of mind never recognize about themselves. Your inner world is more vivid than your outer life. While other people seem to live primarily in the external world, you live in two worlds at once, and the internal one is often louder. You have entire conversations in your head before you have them out loud. You imagine scenarios in such detail that they feel like memories. You can spend hours alone and never feel bored because the landscape inside you is too active to need entertainment from outside. This is not escapism. This is the natural state of a mind that processes life through reflection rather than reaction. And it is the reason solitude feels like fuel to you, not punishment. The eighth sign is that you cannot fake emotions or interest, even when it would be socially easier. You have tried. Everyone has. But something inside you refuses to perform an emotion you do not actually feel. Your face will not cooperate. Your voice flattens. The mismatch between what you are pretending and what you are actually feeling becomes physically uncomfortable. This is not coldness. It is a nervous system that is too sensitive to its own internal signals to override them. The cost is that you sometimes seem distant in social situations. The gift is that when you do show emotion, it is always real. The ninth sign is that you need long stretches of solitude to function. Not because you dislike people, but because your mind processes the world more intensely than most. Every conversation, every interaction, every moment of input gets analyzed at a level that other people do not realize is happening. By the end of a social day, you are not tired in the way an introvert is tired. You are full. Your mind is holding more data than it has had time to process. And solitude is the only thing that gives it room to sort through everything. Without that recovery time, you do not just feel drained. You feel disconnected from yourself. The 10th sign is that you carry a quiet sense of mission, even when you cannot fully name it. There is something inside you that has always whispered that you are here for a reason. Not in a dramatic or self-important way, but as a steady undercurrent that has shaped your decisions your whole life. You are drawn to work that matters. You are uninterested in pursuits that feel hollow. You sense that your life is meant to add something to the world, even if you have not figured out exactly what that something is. This is the existential signature of a deep processing mind. It does not just observe the world. It feels responsible to it. When you put all of these signs together, a picture emerges that most people will never see in themselves. A mind that reads environments before words are spoken. A mind that thinks in systems, refuses shallow processing, matures along its own timeline, and protects its bandwidth for depth. A mind whose inner world is more vivid than its outer one, that cannot fake what it does not feel, that needs solitude the way other people need company, and that carries a quiet sense of purpose underneath everything. This is not a defect. This is not a personality flaw. This is a rare cognitive architecture that the world has never fully known how to accommodate. If you have spent most of your life feeling slightly outside the rhythm of the people around you, this is the reason. You were never failing at being normal. You were succeeding at being something rarer. And the loneliness that came with that was not a sign that you needed to change. It was a sign that you had not yet found the people whose minds move at the same depth as yours. Those people exist. They are quieter than the rest of the world, which is why they are harder to find. But they are out there. And when you meet one, you will feel something you have spent your whole life waiting to feel. Recognized. Which of these 10 signs felt most like reading a description of yourself? Drop the number in the comments, because the conversation that happens there is the kind of conversation your mind has always been looking for. And if someone in your life carries a mind like this without knowing it yet, share this with them. Because understanding the architecture of your own mind is the first real step toward finally feeling at home inside it.